The new Stokastic Hall of Fame program is bigger and so much better than ever before. Because the days of being able to win only one time a year, well, they're gone. Now you can win year-round just by rocking the Stokastic avatar wherever it is you play. And we've added way more prizes and better ones too, just to make all of your wins that much sweeter. Even a custom Stokastic Hall of Fame ring and display case to commemorate your most memorable takedowns. And if you're looking for a fresh look on DraftKings or FanDuel, we've created a brand new selection of Stokastic avatars to choose from. And all you have to do to get involved is finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, no matter the entry fee, and tweet us your wins at Stokastic Hall of Fame. Yo, we're back. It's been a little bit, but the Hall of Fame is better than ever. Now you can win a lot more stuff, a lot better stuff as well. All you got to do, download the Stokastic profile picture, stokastic.com/HOF. We got 6 beautiful new ones to choose from. Use it wherever it is you play. DraftKings, FanDuel, anywhere. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, no matter the entry fee, and tweet us your wins at Stokastic HOF. Maybe include a nice little message in there as well, and you're in, baby. Climbing the ranks with the Stokastic Hall of Fame, and we kick it off with the brand new Ring of Honor. That's right. Any $20,000 or more win gets a custom Stokastic Hall of Fame ring in an engraved display case. It even spins. It's a beauty. And any subscription package of the tier that you've met as well for Sims. Joey Prindle, thank you for the Sims and awesome content. What a night. $60,000 for Joey Prindle in the MLB streets. Our first Ring of Honor recipient. You've got to love it. But we've got 2 of them already, and we just started this new Hall of Fame. Z-Roth, 2, with a $20,000 win in the bat flip. Also took down the Mini Max for $1,000. You guys get the rings plus the Sims packages. And yes, even though we just started taking submissions 2 weeks ago, we already got someone in the silver. Means he won twice already, qualified twice. It's Dion O'Neal, trusting the process like a 76ers fan. I hear you, brother. 7th time in 4 months and twice in 1 week. 22.91 for Quiet Thunder 06. Although Dion's first one was even bigger. Stokastic's earned a member for life, took down the NBA layup with 1 dupe, 6th time in 4 months, $8,700 for Dion. Congrats, brother. First one into the silver. Jake Hari, our own, back to the Oilers show, back to even on Oilers Showdowns, thanks to the great Ryan McLeod. $10,000 for Jake in the NHL streets. John Good, another takedown last night in 2 separate contests using the Stokastic tools. Shout out to the team and all the hard work you guys put into producing the best content. $11,700 plus $1,400 for John Good. 2 huge wins there. And then Micah took down first in the DK Showdown 20 max. NBA playoffs, Celtics versus Indy. 40K entries with Stokastic.com help. Thanks, guys, with a little $1,283 win there for Micah.
Yeah. I like the $4. I wish they had this throughout the entire playoffs, but whatever.
And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Monday, June 17th, Game 5 of the NBA Finals, a game that we didn't expect to see. And then we found out we were going to get it within a quarter because Boston sucked and Dallas beat the balls off of them. And now we're here in Boston, checking out to see potentially the final NBA game of the regular season. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Sign up at Underdog. There's a link in the description. We'll talk about them too. I'm Josh Engleman. That's Eric Lindquist. What's up, man?
Not much. PGA was disappointing. I had the Rory lots of and bet Rory and all the Rory. And so I'm just kind of ready to move on to other stuff. Got an early Kyle Schwarber bomb, which makes me happy. Bet him for first home run, bet him for individual home run, and now also have a very small play on 2 home runs, so I'm going to be sweating that, paying attention to that. If Bryce Harper wants to hit this far off Vasquez as well, that would be nifty, but 9 hits for them already through 4 innings for Vasquez, so he is the worst.
I did not play baseball, so
okay.
Nothing you are saying registers to me, other than the fact that I understand that you are describing baseball.
There we go. That's really all that matters because this is NBA and like all I'm going to do tonight is watch NBA. I'm not going to watch a second of baseball. I'll track the baseball, but I'm pretty excited for this one. If it somehow goes Dallas's way, it's going to get really, really dicey, but I like their chances of winning tonight, and I like a lot of Boston players. So I'm curious what you're going to get for exposures, considering you were pretty heavy on the you're pretty heavy in game 3 on the Dallas side of things. Game 4, I believe you kind of flipped the script a little bit, but
that didn't
very
work.
excited to see what you have.
Well, the good news is I'm relatively flat across the board. I only have a few negative, like I'm not really getting to much guys, including Luka Doncic. I have a lot at utility. Well, I have enough at utility. I do not have him at captain. Most of my captain exposure is looped up into Boston, primarily Tatum, Drew, Horford, Derek White. I wish it were Jaylen Brown, but I'm about neutral on him overall. I'm happy about that. I think Boston wins. I think this series ends in Boston. If that's the case, I tend to think that a Boston captain will make the most sense. So right now I'm leaning heavy at captain to the Boston Celtics. Shout out Larry Legend.
Yeah. Shout out Larry Legend. Yeah, there you go. I guess there's two things. So one, I'm on board with you. I do like a lot of the Boston expensive captains. We've got Kyrie, who we'll get to. He's pulling a ton of captain ownership, highest actually by 0.2% now over Tatum. But I am inclined to think Kyrie, coming off of 12, 16 points there in games 1 and 2 respectively, still doesn't like Boston, still coming into a pretty hostile crowd, if you will. He has made that known. Kyrie Irving feels that way, a certain way about the city, but he is going to be the highest known captain, I think. Getting to some of the Boston guys, Tatum, Brown, Holiday, and then Lively is kind of the main guy from Dallas that I'm playing at the captain spot. Just a guy that I've routinely been pretty heavy on throughout these playoffs. But I want to ask you first and foremost, how many minutes for Kristaps Porzingis tonight?
I think I went like 13.
I went 15, and I see 20 being a consensus in other places. I am so with you that I don't really think we get like 20 in any scenario.
Yeah, I went 13.
I love that.
I'm not really... He kind of is more important for other people from Boston than he is for himself. Because for the most part, like, no matter what you're projecting him for, it's going to be a pretty hard thing to justify at 8K. Mm-hmm. His price hasn't fallen enough to offset. Look, if he goes out there and plays like 26 minutes, there's not a person on the planet that expected that to happen. And then he still has to play well enough to be in that winning lineup. So I have him at 13. I wanted to leave it still a little bit on Tillman. It doesn't appear that that's going to make a difference for me. But for right now, I basically have him in a window where there's no chance I'll get him.
Okay, I'm with you. I love that we have him at 14 here at Stokastic. It's the first thing you see in the data hub over on the for the pre-contest sim. If you go to the data hub on the far left tab, I wanted to at least point out that I am right in alignment with what our data guys are saying there. So we are on the same page, Josh. I see other places, and it just kind of freaks me out to think that people think he might actually play enough to be justified today. I'm going to have 0%, and it is what it is. And I'm probably going to play more Al Horford as a result. Maybe other people shy away. Again, we have so much public money that has shifted ownership in such a pronounced way throughout these playoffs, and wanted to get that one out of the way early.
You mentioned Derek Lively before. I'd like to loop another conversation piece in here. How do you want to handle a 25% owned Daniel Gafford?
Just the same way that I always do. Watch him put up infinity fantasy points in 18 minutes and cry. So that's probably what I'll end up doing here yet again. I have him in 2 of 20 lineups. So I have him in 10% of lineups. I'm underweight.
I have a goose egg right now. He's the only guy that I have like a ridiculous stand on in that way. I can just feel the Derek Lively foul trouble coming. It's annoying me to no end. I just don't think they want him to play that many minutes. And if he does, he has to be the nuts. I'm okay with that chance, I think, because it doesn't seem like they want to prioritize him.
Well, in 10 minutes, we saw Kleba also. I think if you're going to be wanting to play that narrative, I think there's more ways that if this game gets wonky and Daniel Gafford gets played off like we both hope and assume that he can, and it's happened the last two, I suppose. Kleba could end up being the guy that I think plays a little bit more. Going through some of his stuff, I'm kind of writing off all of game 4. I don't want to even look at like the 20-ish minutes or anything there, but I do think Gafford's the one guy that they're like, all right, we get it. We probably shouldn't be playing this guy as much as we have been. Lively. And I mean, Dallas just smashed in general. They finally shot enough threes. They made enough threes, shooting over 40%. Kleber's somebody that at 15 minutes at 2,400, I like a little bit more than Dante Exum. And I don't think that that's going to be necessarily the consensus. We have double the ownership coming into Kleber right now, but I don't think that'll be the case. But yeah, Gafford shorting him, I think also is just kind of getting me on to go into Kleber here as well.
I am getting a bit of Kleber. I have 16%, but I am also getting to Exum. I have 20 of him right now. Seems like he's going to be the guard that they're going to now. It seems like they've excised Tim Hardaway. Doesn't seem like Jaden Hardy's going to jump Exum again. I really don't think that we saw anything in game 4 that would change that up. So I'm actually very interested in Exum if he's really 7% owned. That seems a little light to me.
It does seem light, but there's maybe I'm overthinking it. I do think that he's going to end up being somebody that gets pushed up a little bit more. What happens with Exum on the floor also if, this game is staying competitive and they want to play Kyrie and Luka 44 minutes apiece, it becomes Exum. I think they get squeezed a little bit more so than like a Derrick Jones Jr., who, you probably want out there for defensive purposes. It is just a weird spot coming off of a game 4 where we didn't get to see what Dallas's reckless abandon lineups look like. And I'm with you where I think they don't include Daniel Gafford, and that's the one stand I'm willing to really take.
He's just the only problem with not getting to Gafford is that the path for him to play a lot more than you expected is very clean. It's just like, oh, Derek Lively got into foul trouble. Daniel Gafford is going to go from 16 minutes to 23 minutes because he has to. And that's where it starts to get scary and makes me wonder, like, should I be accounting for this in some way?
Yeah, maybe. God, I mean, it's obviously the low point of salary where 4,200. I mean, and we're down another 200 from last time out. Didn't play him last time out. 13 and a half. He didn't end up there, but good Lord Almighty, it is a really scary spot for sure. But I think you got to make some stands some places.
Right.
You don't want to be flat and holding hands with the field the entire way across. And I think at the same time, you're talking about how clean it is for Gafford to get more time out there. If Derek Lively doesn't get in foul trouble, there's a legitimate chance that this becomes a 30-16 or a 30-14 type split at the absolute best for Gafford.
Very true, which would be perfect.
Optimal for us. Yeah, there we go. Go team. Fuck that guy.
I'd be super stoked. I would prefer that to happen 100% of that. So I just finished running my update. Let me just update it and throw it into my sheet and see if anything really like kicked out in a weird way. I really
don't like these Lively captain lineups, if I'm being honest as well. Like they almost have to include Gafford with the salary constraints of things. And if you don't play Luka in them, you're running into like the exact same style of builds unless you're leaving 2,300 on the table. And I just don't feel like it's going to be one of those slates. So Derek Lively captain, something that's getting trimmed down for me right now.
Okay. Yeah, not a lot of changes for me. A little bit less Tatum than I had on when we started the show. Dead neutral to the field here. It's 2x Holiday, 2x White, 2x PJ Washington captain. That is really the driver for me. Oh, and 14% Al Horford. Don't want to let that go. He's my biggest stand right now over the field. 60% of Horford, 33% overall. Still maintained that 0 Daniel Gafford. Still maintained the Exum. Lost my Kleber.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I would prefer to have a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd prefer to have a little bit of Kleber if I'm gonna have 0% Gafford, because I mean you are really putting all of your eggs into the Lively basket. And I mean, how much Lively do you have in the flex?
Like 50.
Yeah, okay. So you're kind of with the field. I mean, field's right at 50.
Right.
Man, I feel like that's just counterintuitive where you'd still want to just get to a lot of Lively. But I guess at the same time that we're speculating minutes and we're talking about the scenarios for it, we still need the production. And so that's kind of the thing that's hanging out there is that you can get the minutes right. I feel like I got the minutes right for Kleber a lot of times these playoffs, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it.
I also do think that, like, if Boston's going to win this game, I think a path to that happening is like the centers don't play well. Because if the centers aren't playing well, I think that breaks everything for Dallas. So I don't necessarily hate that I don't have 2 of them. Would I like that a little bit more maxi? Sure. I don't mind Gafford being like the one stand that I have. I have 0 of Peyton Pritchard at 15% ownership, so I kind of need the game to be relatively close so he just isn't a participant.
I mean, the thing is, he was still so bad, even off the bench. They gave him run trying to get him dusted off a little bit, trying to get some of the juju off. He hadn't made a shot outside of that last second, third quarter 3 in game 2 until that game 4 where he got to just do whatever he wanted. And he still played terrible. He still looked awful. Had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, played himself into like a winning scenario. But like, from a real life perspective, Peyton Pritchard has not played well for them. There's no reason that in a game 5 where they are really trying to put the foot down, their White, Holiday don't play a lot more. Peyton Pritchard's somebody that I'm not getting to a lot. Sam Hauser, however, is a different conversation because I have more than I should have hit.
I have 6%. He had been a guy that I was getting to a lot. It's not happening now. What do you think you're seeing in Hauser?
See, I don't know if I'm seeing anything completely different than previous games. It's simply that he came off of last time out and he was knocking down shots. He's been a little bit more in his minutes, been a little bit more assertive to go out and chuck. I mean, that is his whole job of being out on the floor. And in that game 3 for 4 from 3, goes from 14, 16-ish minutes up to 20 there last time out. Again, him and Pritchard, they basically said, all right, go get some confidence, go play and see if we can get some kind of a Hail Mary comeback. And they waved the white flag early is basically what happened. So I don't want to read crazy amount into it, but I think the path for Sam Hauser, if he starts knocking down shots early and, pending what happens with Kristaps Porzingis minutes, I mean, I'm very curious how all of this is going to shake out in terms of ownership and what other people feel are confident in. But I'm going to have 0 Kristaps Porzingis, and if he's only going to play 14 minutes, Sam Hauser I have at 14 minutes, and I'm still getting to him at 3,400 purely because you're going to see Derrick Jones Jr. pull quite a bit more ownership, I believe, and Peyton Pritchard's pulling 15.4% ownership. Yeah, the $600 difference is there, but I'm a little bit lighter than the field is on Luka Doncic, and as a result, I have a lot more salary to play around with some of these configurations that don't have Doncic in it. And so at 8.8% ownership, like we currently have Sam Hauser at, I just kind of want to be into the double digits.
My only concern is that Boston treats this like it's game 7 and all those dudes play like 43 or 44 minutes, which I think is other than Horford, which I think is possible. It's also part of the reason that I think Tillman might still see a rotation, even with Porzingis being limited. But I think we might just see White, Holiday, Brown, and Tatum all play 40 plus, at which point it might take a bite out of Hauser. But not to say that I don't have him still, but it is a concern of mine for today.
Oh, it's a concern of mine too. It's not like I'm getting to like 30% of him or anything. I'm getting to 24 in my top 50 lineups that I have. I'm going to sort it down to top 20. But Sam Hauser currently, I mean, it's just good to see him go out and be assertive taking shots. He's been 7 for 10 the last 2 games from 3. His entire job is to come down and spread the floor out and open things up for Jaylen Brown, for Jason Tatum to get to the paint. And I think he's going to continue to do that to some extent. I can't imagine he's going to all of a sudden play single digits. So knowing that he's at least in this rotation and has been throughout this series here, at least, he only played 16 and 10 minutes, and that was with Porzingis in. But if I'm going to assume Porzingis is limited, it's hard for me to go under 14 minutes for his projection. And you run into a hot hand approach here, 3,400. Other people don't seem to want to be playing him. And there aren't that many guys that we're getting at single digit ownership that I think are viable on this slate. It's like him and Exum.
Yeah. I'm very happy I have the Exum chunk of it. By the way, guys, Underdog's the sponsor. You guys see the banner on the top of the screen. 50% first match deposit bonus up to $250. They've got everything you could possibly want. DFS contests. We talk about them constantly. You can play them at Underdog. Pick'em contest. You could use Odd Shopper to load up whatever you want at Underdog on the Pick'em side. Grab all of the best plus EV plays. That's pretty easy too. Then you could do Best Ball. They're known for it. It's the gold standard in the industry. And we have free NFL Best Ball rankings and projections. You could use Matt Gajewski's stuff. All you have to do is sign up at Stokastic. There are links in the description of this video. Doesn't cost you a single cent. You'll get the projections, you'll get the rankings, then you could hop over to Underdog, load them up for some NFL Best Ball drafts. That simple. Links below or in chat. All right, who haven't we talked about yet that we think we need to? We got about 12 minutes to go.
PJ Washington, big time. Okay. What are your thoughts here? Because for me, I do have some bets where I'm shorting Luka and Kyrie, 32.5, 23.5 points. I think PJ Washington over 12.5 is definitely viable as well in those type of scenarios. I think he's a very popular piece on the DFS slate, though. So I'm kind of toying around with what I want to do here as it stands. I've got him in 5%. So one of my 20, I'm playing him in the captain, and I've got him in half my lineups currently in the flex. Curious what you're doing with him.
He is tied to be my most exposed captain alongside Derek White and Drew Holiday, and I'm about neutral at the utility. So I have 62% PJ Washington. He is in more lineups for me than any other member of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yep, it's kind of where he's at for me as well. I'm shorting Kyrie, Luka a little bit, and PJ Washington just as a result. I think it's also, if you're Boston, don't you kind of like let PJ Washington shoot at a certain point?
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's a clear path for PJ Washington being able to get there on a volume perspective. I mean, he's been better shooting at 3 for 6, 2 for 3 at home there, but coming into it, 1 for 8. I mean, every game that was in Boston, game 1 and 2, I believe Dallas didn't have anybody outside of Luka who made more than 1 3 in those 2 games. That is a wild number. But PJ Washington, if you're Boston, you allow a guy who shoots 33% from 3 to just chuck it whenever he wants.
By the way, we're live on Playback after this, exclusively on Playback. Playback.tv/Stokastic. We watched the game. We're going to watch the first half and potentially even more if it's actually competitive this time. Greg Ehrenberg will be there. Anybody else could pop in too. I don't mean you characters watching along. I mean the people at Stokastic. However, we're happy to have you guys in chat. We have 50 VIP passes we can hand out so you guys can watch the game along with us. So come join us after this show over there on Playback. So I got to dodge the Luka captain game, which I'm okay with, given the amount of Boston that I have. If Luka's the captain, touche. Dallas is going to then have a very good chance of winning this basketball game. Do you have any other major stands or major fades that we want to touch on? I think we could take some questions.
Yeah, let's do it. Again, Daniel Gafford, Sims Tool loves him. I just can't do it today. It is a calculated risk that I'm willing to take. I'm with you as well. We're Luka captain. The version of Luka captain, it always is kind of dependent on what else shows up in some of these lineups. As I sorted some of them, there's going to be so much duplication. Like some of the dupes that exist with these Luka captain lineups are a little out of control today. So I'm bypassing it entirely in 20 lineups. If I were playing more, I'd probably have more Luka captain, but I have a full fade in that regard right now. Pretty flat at the other spots outside of Luka captain there. Played him in 40% of my flex lineups there. Kleba, I have a little bit more than you, sitting at 20% here. He's in 4 of 20. And then Josh Green, we haven't talked about. What is his role in life today?
I've got 28%, so I hope he is as involved as he has been in the last game and the second half of game 3. Seems like they're landing on him now. And more importantly, they seem less enthusiastic about Derek Jones Jr. and they're out of players otherwise, because I think Tim Hardaway Jr. lost his leash at this point.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr. played a lot because of garbage time. Again, game 4, I don't read into anything. He played because Luka fouled out as well, and they were trying to put offense on the floor, I suppose. Somebody else who can maybe create a shot, but didn't go very well. And Tim Hardaway Jr., I think in most spots, in like almost all runouts where he doesn't necessarily come in for 4 minutes and just set the world on fire, knocking down shots, is not going to be long for this game. So I'm with you in that regard.
Best Ball Moderate hit us with the member message. Member for 12 months. Thanks for being here for the year. Is there a white or a light that you like outside Luka?
Sam Hauser, I have more of than you.
White for me is my white.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not that many options.
Yeah, Derek White. I think he's my most exposed player in the flex. Let me double check. I think he was earlier. Nope, he's behind PJ Washington.
Okay. Malcolm said, I'm playing one lineup on FanDuel, on both FanDuel and DraftKings. Who for the flex?
Well, you're probably playing Luka in most scenarios over on FanDuel today.
Yeah.
You are probably playing Jaylen Brown over Tatum in some of those here. I would say flex, you're looking at Derek Lively, you're looking at Kleba, you're looking at Al Horford, you're looking at a number of those guys. I mean, it's almost everybody else. It is hard on this game specifically because of the minutes I expect to go towards PJ Washington, Luka, and Kyrie. And then on the other side for Boston, looking at the minutes you're getting for Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Derek White. So hard to not play those 7 guys in a majority of your top 3 spots on FanDuel. So flex is probably everybody else.
I like it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Malcolm. We've got about 6 minutes to go until lock. My lineups are in relatively stress-free right now. Okay. First rotation is going to be very big. I got to dodge that Daniel Gafford quick start. After that, it's going to be nice to just sit back, relax, and watch some basketball. Who wins?
Boston.
Who is the finals MVP?
Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
Unless, so I do think Jason Tatum, I gave this out last time around and it ended up being a winner for the people, plus 555. Jason Tatum 30 plus 4 plus 3s and Boston money line. That was 555. It pays plus 375 yet again today. If you're going to somehow run into a spot where Jaylen Brown doesn't win MVP, it's got to be a massive Jason Tatum game. And if Jason Tatum gets it going early, I mean, he's still who I anticipate leading this team in usage. And Jason Tatum is going to get all the shots yet again. He'll get his chance to do it, but I don't like it as much, but I still have a small play on that same combination. 30 plus 4 plus 3s and Boston money line pays out 375 on FanDuel.
I feel like trying to find this here. All right, so Jason Tatum is minus 120 to double. I feel like I would just want to take like an alt points plus rebounds prop instead of like trying to take him as the MVP.
Agreed. 2-1 MVP based on what we've seen so far is you're just putting like if he wins the MVP, he has to have a massive game today. So you might as well just bet on the massive game.
Plus 500 for 35 plus points.
I don't hate that.
Like I like that more than betting him to win the MVP. But if you wanted to do some sort of like points put like or like PRA or something like that, and some sort of like alternate points plus rebounds prop, I think there's something there for him.
Agreed.
What else we got? Joseph Ramirez, member for 13 months, one-upping him. Just said thank you guys. Well, thank you. It's good to have you here, man.
We like you very much.
Oh man, I'm excited to watch this. I think we're gonna get a pretty competitive
Kyle
game.
Schwarber number 2. Kyle Schwarber number 2. Kyle Schwarber number 2.
Are you saying that he is shit?
His second.
Okay. What does that do for you? DFS or bets?
Betting. I bet him at 18-1 to hit 2 home runs.
Interesting. That's a hell of a call.
Thank you. I called it last night on Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks as well.
Oh, yeah, I would never see that then.
You should probably upload my lineups, huh? Oh, my Lord. Oh, that felt so good. That was the funniest thing I've ever gotten burned about. Fuck you, I'll punch you when we're in New York.
That's a hell of a call, though, brother. That's a hell of a call.
Thank you. I literally said, I'm going to bet Kyle Schwarber if it's better than 12-1. It was 18-1. It got bet down to 15-1, and we had a lot of people join it. I am very, very excited for
Discord bumping?
Oh,
guys,
Discord's
you should be in our Discord.
Yeah.
You should be in our Discord. Join Odd Shopper. Why not?
Come hang out. Oh, yeah, my Twitter is blowing up. This is fun. This is a fun night now.
Well, I hope you didn't waste all your good for Kyle Schwarber's second home run. You got to save a little bit of this juice for lock, which is happening in 2.5 minutes. We are going to be on playback shortly. All right. Let's see. Who is in my top lineup? Interested to find this out. My highest ranked lineup. We'll talk about it in a second. Who do you think? Okay, my top 2 lineups have the same captain. Who do you think that is?
PJ Washington.
The correct answer is PJ Washington. Anytime you need to get 2 of something right, you seem to be doing very well in the past minute.
It's in the past minute. Thank you so much. My wife, she would say that I'm very, very good in a minute.
Yeah. Mine would say that I'm very bad in a minute. Drew Holiday is in both of those lineups. Al Horford is in both of those lineups. Jason Tatum is in both of those lineups. The only differences between the two is a 2v2 of Josh Green and Luka and Al Horford and Derek White.
Oh my God.
It was fun.
That was a lot of
So we're
fun.
done here, right? This is going to be it. We're not going to talk about basketball again until October.
I don't think so. So is there anything you want to recap about the season, just in case? I did this on the NBA Lindy's video where I was like, hey, it might be fun if I don't see you again. And then they lose by 45. So that was maybe a little bit of a hex that I put on them. But this was a fun season. And for people who don't know, Josh has done... I can't tell you how unbelievably proud I am of Josh and the amount of work that he's done in the midst of so much shit. And so I know we don't want to get sentimental in the last minute, but we have like 1,000 people here. If you just smash the like button and give Josh a high five, because the dude is doing strategy shows in the morning by himself. He's giving out nonstop DraftKings FanDuel analysis during the regular season. He is getting prepared. He is firing everything up. He continues to help everybody else here on this side of the street who's trying to revamp their process when things aren't going right. Had a 30K hit earlier this season because of something that he threw into the analysis that kind of just ended up being kind of a throwaway comment that worked for me. So like in the middle of everything that he's had go on, I got to just say, you have been an awesome co-partner in everything here. Greg as well. He's all right. But shout out to Josh Engleman, my friends.
God damn, the verbal filleting on the show felt very nice. Thank you very much, brother. It's been great doing these shows.
Very welcome.
I think we're done, so I'm happy to treat this as a sign-off, but I have very much enjoyed hanging out for these playoffs. For all of the kidding that we do, we've enjoyed this. What happened?
Jordan Klein.
What?
Oh my God.
I have no idea what happened.
God.
Brokeback? Is it Brokeback?
No, it wasn't the Brokeback.
Yeah. I see it now. Yeah.
The Brokeback was pretty good once upon a time, but he's not going to be able to pull that off in the next 30 seconds. So let's get out of here.
Tell you what, that might be a real picture. All righty, folks. It is time for playback. Shout out to Underdog. Go to playback.tv/Stokastic right now. We'll talk to you later.